If you want to take the island, burn the boats. If you've still got a backup plan, you're not really in the game. You're just warming up the bench. And let's be honest, folks, some of you have been sitting on that bench for years, calling it preparation. But here's the truth. You don't need another plan. You need a fire. One that consumes every excuse, every delay, every what if that's ever whispered in your mind. This isn't just about going all in. It's about cutting off the exit, torching the plan B, and locking eyes with your dream like there's no tomorrow. Because for the next 30 days, there won't be. Before we go any further, hit that like button and subscribe. If you're serious about transforming your mindset, your results, and your life, this is where it begins. Not with hype, but with hard decisions. No more dipping your toes. We're diving in, and we're burning the bridge behind us. Hey, folks, imagine this. You're standing on a wooden bridge between two worlds. Behind you, comfort, safety, second chances. In front of you, the life you say you want. But here's the catch. The bridge is flammable. The moment you step forward, it's either burn it or be tempted forever to go back. That's where most people lose the war. They hesitate with 1 foot in the fire and 1 foot in the fantasy. My friends, if the path back still exists, the future forward doesn't stand a chance. You're not tired because you're working hard. You're tired because your soul is pulling in two directions. Let me tell you what Plan B really is. It's not safety, it's a stall. It's a mental hammock where your doubts go to nap and your dreams go to die. It whispers, if this doesn't work, you've got another way. But what it really means is, you never have to fully commit. And that, my friends, is the lie. Plan B isn't support, it's sabotage wearing a polite smile. And for the next 30 days, we're cutting that smile off. Napoleon Hill once said, a burning desire backed by faith knows no such word as impossible. But burning desire doesn't come with a fire extinguisher in your back pocket. It comes with scorched bridges, closed doors, and 0 return tickets. That's how the greats did it. Alexander the Great burned the ships. No retreat, just conquest. And you? You've got dreams just as big, but you're still trying to achieve them with one hand on the wheel and one hand reaching for the parachute. Now I know some of you might be thinking, but what if I fail? My friends, let me ask you this. What if the fear of failure is the only thing keeping you from the life that was meant for you? What if failure is not the fire to avoid, but the fuel you need to fly? You won't find certainty by playing it safe. You'll find it by deciding that there is no other way, no retreat, no fallback, no maybe later. Just you, the goal, and the bridge you're about to set on fire. This next chapter of your life doesn't begin with a perfect plan. It begins with the destruction of every excuse that's kept you stuck. For the next 30 days, we go all in. We remove the safety net, the soft landings, the exit signs. You're not here to flirt with your destiny. You're here to marry it. So here's your affirmation, short, sharp, and soul-level serious. No plan B. Type it in the comments if you're ready. Let the world know you're burning the bridge. Let yourself know. And stay with me, because what's coming next will light a fire in your mind that never dies. Number 1, if you can still turn back, you will. When the option to retreat remains, commitment never begins. Let's stop pretending, my friends. If you can still turn back, then you're not really all in. You're just visiting your goal, not living inside it. You're sightseeing your potential like it's some attraction on a map, taking photos at the edge of greatness but never stepping off the tour bus. And the worst part? You tell yourself you're being smart, that keeping options open is strategic, that having a backup plan is just in case. But let me break the illusion. You don't keep Plan B because you're smart. You keep it because you're scared. Picture this with me. A man stands in front of a canyon. On the other side is everything he wants. His destiny, his vision, his freedom. Behind him, the life he's already outgrown, the job he hates, the people who never believed in him, the doubts that have chained him for years. A rope bridge stretches across the canyon, swaying in the wind. It creaks with every step, and halfway across, he stops, looks back. The wind howls louder, his heart pounds, and even though he's made it halfway, even though he knows what's waiting on the other side, he turns back. Not because he can't keep going, but because he can turn back. That's you. That's all of us at some point, torn between the life we want and the safety we know. And as long as that bridge remains intact, as long as you allow yourself the option to return, you will always hesitate at the hardest part. Because plan B is gravity. It pulls you back to the ground the moment your dreams try to lift off. And you might say, but what if I fall? Of course you will. At some point, you will. That's part of flight. But the real question is, what if the only reason you never truly rise is because you keep packing parachutes? Because let's face it, if you're preparing to crash, then deep down, you're expecting it. This is why you must burn the bridge. As long as you leave the back door unlocked, you'll find reasons to use it. Every moment of discomfort will send you running. Every failure will feel like confirmation. Every fear will echo louder because you left space for it to speak. And you'll convince yourself that going back is wise, when in truth, it's just cowardice wearing the mask of logic. Let me hit you with something hard. The brain does not fully commit to a future it knows it can escape. That's not negativity, that's neuroscience. When your mind has a way out, it splits its energy between forward momentum and exit strategy. That's why you feel stuck. It's not because you lack talent. It's not because you don't have time. It's because you never actually made the jump. You just leaned forward and hoped the wind would carry you. But it doesn't work like that. The leap only works when there's no going back. Napoleon Hill said, "There is one quality that one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it." Let me tell you something Hill didn't say but lived. Burning desire can't survive next to cold feet. And the moment you start considering your options, that fire begins to die. My friends, your hesitation is not about fear. It's about freedom. The freedom that terrifies you. Because if you really go all in, if you really burn the bridge, then you are responsible for what happens next. No more blaming conditions. No more leaning on timing. No more rehearsing your failures for the sympathy of others. That's why this is so hard. Not because you can't win, but because now winning or losing becomes your burden. And most people aren't afraid of failure. They're afraid of finally being in control. But you didn't come here to play safe. You came here to break the cycle. You came to finally move in one direction, with all your force, all your breath, all your mind. You came here to stop leaking life into second chances and start living like this is your only one. Because it is. The most dangerous man in the room is not the loudest. He's the one with nothing left to lose. And that's what burning the bridge gives you. Not recklessness, purity, a clarity so sharp it cuts through all excuses. When there's no option to retreat, every step becomes a command. Every thought becomes focused. Every action gains weight. And you start to move like a man who can't afford to doubt anymore. So I'm going to ask you right here, right now, what are you still keeping just in case? Who are you still calling just in case this doesn't work? What path are you keeping warm, just in case your dream gets too cold? Burn it. Burn the number. Burn the habit. Burn the job. Burn the exit. Not physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Make a choice so final that even your fear knows it has nowhere left to run. Yes, it'll be hard. You'll shake. You'll doubt. You'll scream inside. But let me tell you what comes next. Strength, focus, peace. You'll stop questioning whether or not you're on the right path because there won't be another one. And in that singular direction, you'll find momentum that you've never known. Because a divided man is a weak man, but a man of one direction is unstoppable. So here's what I want you to do right now. Write it in the comments. Show the world. Show yourself. Let it echo inside your soul until every cell in your body believes it. Type these 3 words, loud and proud: I burn bridges. Say it with fire in your voice. Say it with tears if you must. But say it like a man who knows that freedom never lives next to safety. Say it and then stay with me, because what's coming next will burn the doubt right out of you and build a foundation so strong, retreat won't even be an option anymore. Number 2, the fantasy of keeping options open is a lie. He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. Muhammad Ali. Let's get one thing straight. This whole idea of keeping your options open sounds smart, sounds strategic, sounds responsible. But it's none of those things. It's fear, dressed in a suit, pretending to be logic. And most people fall for it. They stay halfway committed, halfway in, halfway alive, because what if something better comes along? My friends, let me say this loud and clear. Nothing better comes along for the man who never chooses. We live in a world addicted to options. Swipe left, swipe right. Change majors, change jobs, postpone the launch, hold back just in case. But every time you delay the decision, you delay your destiny. Every time you try to keep every door open, you forget that the wind of life doesn't blow you through the right one. It blows you into a wall. A man walking through 10 doors at once doesn't move forward. He stays stuck at the threshold, confused and exhausted, watching other men build empires while he's still asking himself which bricks to use. You want to know why clarity keeps slipping through your fingers? It's not because you're broken, it's because you're holding too many leashes. One for your dream, one for your backup, one for the idea you're not quite brave enough to chase, and another one for the version of you who still wants to be liked, safe, and comforted. And while you try to lead them all, guess what? You're not moving. You're tangled, pulled, scattered, and calling that chaos being prepared. Let me give you an image. Imagine a general who leads his army into foreign territory. They've crossed oceans, carried weight, and risked everything. They arrive at the enemy's gates, and what does the general do? He burns the ships, flames rising behind them, no way back, only forward, no plan B, just one mission, win or die trying. Do you think those soldiers fought harder? Do you think they gave half effort? Do you think they hesitated? That's what life demands of you if you want to win. Not comfort, not back doors, but fire. Total, uncompromising fire. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if I choose wrong? My friend, not choosing is already the wrong choice. Life is not about guarantees, it's about direction. And indecision is a silent killer. It doesn't stab you in the chest. It poisons you slowly. One doubt here, one delay there, one extra excuse, one more someday. Before you know it, the year is gone. The decade is gone. You're older, bitter, and wondering why nothing ever really clicked. It didn't click because you never clicked commit. There's this lie they feed us. Keep all doors open so you don't miss out. But what they don't tell you is this. Every open door is a leak in your energy. Every extra option costs mental focus. Every backup plan is a drain on belief. And belief, real belief, requires exclusivity. Think about it. Would you trust someone who says, "You're my person, but I'm still talking to 5 others just in case"? No? Then why does your dream deserve that kind of betrayal? Napoleon Hill said, "A man who cannot make up his mind to carry out a definite purpose has no chance of success." And that's the heart of it. Definite purpose, singular focus, commitment without exit. Until you say, "This is it," life won't say, "Let's go." And the truth is, most people don't keep options because they want success. They keep them because they want permission to fail quietly. If it doesn't work out, they can say, well, I wasn't all in anyway. They want a soft place to land. But success doesn't reward soft landings. It rewards final decisions. And yes, it will be hard. The moment you eliminate your other options, fear will roar louder than ever. What if you can't do it? What if you mess up? What if it's the wrong move? But listen closely. That voice is not wisdom. It's weakness, asking to stay. And the only way to silence it is to make your move so final that even your fear has to fall in line. This is why the next 30 days are sacred. You're not just committing to action, you're committing to elimination. You are removing the false doors. You are stripping yourself of comfort excuses. You are building momentum through exclusion, not expansion. You are not here to explore every trail. You are here to claim one path and own it completely. And let me tell you something. The moment you make that decision, the universe shifts. People feel it. Opportunities move. Your own posture changes. You stop questioning whether or not it will work, and you start working like there is no question. Because that's the power of decision. You may still doubt. That's okay. Doubt happens. But indecision, that's a choice. And it's one you can't afford to make anymore. So here's what I need you to do right now. Comment below. I choose. I commit. I close the door. Let those words sink in. Type them like you mean them. Type them like you're finally cutting the rope that's kept you tied to mediocrity. Say it again out loud if you must. I choose. I commit. I close the door. This is how it begins, not with a perfect plan, but with the courage to kill the fantasy of keeping options open. Stay with me, because what's coming next will take that decision and turn it into something unshakable. Number 3, you will never find clarity until you remove the option to quit. Until you are willing to destroy every escape route, you will never know how far you can go. Let's not sugarcoat it. If you still believe you're going to wake up one day, stretch, sip some coffee, and feel magically clear and ready to commit, you're in a fairy tale. Clarity isn't found, it's forged. And it's not born in comfort, it's born in fire. My friends, you don't gain clarity by waiting. You gain it by removing the option to quit. Imagine you're driving in thick fog. Visibility is down to inches. You can't see the road. The lights are blurry, your hands grip the wheel tighter, and part of you wants to pull over. But there's no shoulder, no side road, no U-turn. You're locked in. So what do? You slow down, yes, but you don't stop. You keep moving. And the more you move, the clearer the path becomes. That's clarity. It doesn't descend like magic from the heavens. It arrives after you've burned the bridge and kept walking anyway. The fog of uncertainty doesn't lift because you paused. It lifts because you decided not to turn back. Here's what they don't tell you. Most people don't lack direction. They lack pressure because pressure reveals clarity. When you cut off the exit, you remove the escape. And when there's no escape, the mind becomes laser focused. It begins to ask, what must be done, not what could be done. See the difference? One is mental noise, the other is mission. But as long as quitting is an option, whether it's a secret fallback plan, a person you run to for comfort, or just that tiny voice in your head that says, you can stop any time, your mind will never give you the full picture because it doesn't have to. Why would it? If your subconscious knows there's always a soft landing, it will never go full throttle toward anything. That's why you feel stuck. That's why no amount of journaling, overthinking, and figuring things out ever leads to progress. Because clarity doesn't come to men who wait. It comes to men who close the door behind them and set the intention to never reopen it. Let me break a lie real quick. They told you clarity comes before action. But no, clarity comes after you eliminate confusion's favorite fuel, hesitation. And hesitation feeds off escape routes. Your subconscious will always choose the easiest path when one is available, not because it's lazy, but because it's programmed for survival. Not greatness, survival. You want greatness? You want to become undeniable? Then remove survival as the goal. You were not made to get by. You were made to go all in. And that version of you, he doesn't carry a safety rope. He doesn't ask for guarantees. He moves, even if his hands are shaking, even if the map isn't finished, even if the path looks more like a battlefield than a sidewalk. Look around. How many people do you know who are figuring it out, who are still trying to decide, who are always almost ready? Years go by, and they're still circling the same roundabout of indecision. Why? Because they never killed the exit sign. Napoleon Hill said it clearly. The world has the habit of making room for the man whose words and actions show that he knows where he is going. But if you keep speaking like you're unsure, if you keep acting like you're not fully in, the world won't move for you. It won't bend. It won't yield. It'll pass you by and open the door for the one who's willing to close all others. And I get it, it's terrifying. I'm not denying that. Committing with no return is scary. It should be, because it means something real is finally happening. It means the excuses are dead and the responsibility is now fully in your hands. No one to blame, no cushion to fall back on, just you, your decision, and the outcome you're about to create. But that's what power feels like, and it doesn't always feel good. It feels heavy, and when you finally lift it instead of avoiding it, something inside you changes. You stop asking people what they think. You stop looking for signs. You stop flipping the coin. You just move, and in that movement, you become magnetic, focused, dangerous. Here's the truth. You'll never think your way into clarity. You'll only act your way into it. And the first act, burn the right to quit, not decrease it, not hide it, not hope you won't need it. Burn it. Light it up with every ounce of doubt still clinging to your ribs. And once it's ash, walk forward with your eyes open and your heart racing. Not because you have it all figured out, but because you finally made the one decision that makes all others possible. You remove the option to quit. That is when clarity arrives, not as a gentle whisper, but as a command. Your mind sharpens, your decisions accelerate, your time stretches, and suddenly what used to confuse you becomes obvious. Why? Because there's no more debate inside your head, no more back and forth, just movement. Let me ask you this. What has quitting cost you? That one idea you put down for now. That one opportunity you almost chased. That one version of you who looked in the mirror and said, maybe I'm not ready. That hesitation wasn't harmless. It was expensive. It cost you time, belief, momentum, and identity. You've paid enough for your doubts. Isn't it time to burn them? Say it with me, right here, right now. Write it in the comments. I remove the exit. Let that be your vow. Let that be your signal to the universe, to yourself, to the old you who wanted comfort more than conquest. Say it like it's final. Say it like you're locking the door and throwing away the key. I remove the exit. No more wandering, no more delay, no more bargaining with weakness. And stay with me, because what's coming next will not only show you where to go, it'll build the fire that makes not going no longer an option. Number 4, doubt is a signal, not a stop sign. You can't always wait for the perfect time. Sometimes you must dare to do it because life's too short to wonder what could have been. Napoleon Hill. Let's talk about doubt. That quiet little whisper in your head that says, what if this doesn't work? What if I'm not good enough? What if I lose everything? You know the voice. We all do. And here's the truth no one wants to admit. Doubt is not the enemy. It's the compass. But most people treat it like a brick wall. They hit it and stop. They feel resistance and think it's a divine no. But my friends, the presence of doubt isn't a warning to turn around. It's a signal that you're finally heading in the right direction. Doubt only shows up when you're close to something that matters. You don't doubt things that are irrelevant. You don't feel fear about paths that lead nowhere. The voice doesn't get louder when you're drifting. It gets louder when you finally put your foot on the gas. And the more it screams, the closer you're getting to the thing you've been running from and longing for your whole life. Imagine standing at the entrance of a cave. It's dark, silent, unknown. You've heard there's treasure deep inside, purpose, power, everything you've ever wanted. But the moment you approach, your hands sweat, your knees shake, your breath shortens. That's doubt. And what most men do, they turn around, they say, if this was right, I wouldn't feel like this. But that's the lie. You feel like this because it's right. The cave is supposed to scare you because what's inside will change your life. And change, real, irreversible change, requires you to pass through the fear. Doubt is the smoke, but purpose is the fire behind it. Now let's get clear. Doubt doesn't mean stop. Doubt doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've just stepped outside the safety of the known. And your brain is scrambling to find something familiar. It wants to protect you. That's its job. But comfort and greatness don't live in the same house. If you want to evolve, you've got to accept this law. Feeling afraid is part of moving forward. Some of you are waiting to take action until the doubt is gone. You want to feel 100% certain before you burn the bridge. You're waiting for permission from the universe, from the people around you, from your feelings. But guess what? That permission is never coming. You don't get clarity first. You get discomfort first. You get resistance first. That's how you know you're on a real path. That's how you know you're finally pushing past the limits your old self set up to keep you small. You don't need to eliminate the doubt. You need to move with it. Let me tell you something powerful. Doubt is a request for dominance. It's your subconscious saying, prove to me you're serious. It's the door to conviction, but only if you keep walking. Every time you've let doubt stop you, you taught your mind that hesitation is acceptable, that uncertainty means pause. But not anymore. Starting now, doubt becomes your green light. Not because you love the feeling, but because you finally understand what it means. It means you're alive. It means you're moving. It means you're standing on the edge of becoming someone new. You ever notice how children are scared the first time they do something meaningful? The first step, the first dive, the first time riding a bike. Their hands tremble, they look back, they want reassurance, but they do it anyway, and once they do, they never go back. Why? Because on the other side of that fear was freedom, and it was always there. They just needed to go through it. That's you now. That's where you are. The fear doesn't mean don't. It means do, and do it now. Here's the ugly truth. Most people worship comfort like it's safety, but safety is a cage. It's a padded room with no air. Doubt is what shows you the door. And if you don't walk through it, you'll keep circling your comfort zone, confusing movement with progress. You'll run faster than ever and get nowhere. You'll overthink, overplan, overexplain, and underlive. That is the cost of giving doubt the final word. Napoleon Hill said, "The man who wins is the man who thinks he can." But what he didn't say is that the man who wins doesn't always feel like he can. He doubts, he fears, but he moves anyway. He understands that courage is not the absence of doubt. Courage is commanding movement in the face of it. So what do we do with this doubt now? We weaponize it. When it whispers, "What if you fail?" you respond, "What if I don't?" When it asks, "What if people don't believe in me?" you reply, "I believe in me enough for both of us." When it hisses, "This is risky," you grin and say, "Exactly." From now on, every time doubt shows up, you'll say this one sentence, "Thank you for showing me the way." That's the new relationship. Doubt is not the barrier. It's the arrow pointing to what you must do next. Every goal that terrifies you, that's your next destination. Every action that makes your stomach drop, that's your next move. Not later. Not when you feel ready. Now, you do not escape doubt by waiting. You escape it by moving. You do not destroy fear by thinking. You destroy it by deciding. Right now, I want you to say this aloud. Or better yet, write it in the comments. Make it real. Make it public. Make it yours. Type this with full conviction. Doubt is my signal. I move anyway. Say it. Type it. Own it. Let it echo in your bones. Because this isn't about pretending to be fearless. This is about learning how to walk into the storm anyway. About burning the bridge behind you and saying, I might fall, I might crawl, but I'm not going back. Say it again with breath in your chest. Doubt is my signal. I move anyway. You are no longer a man waiting for courage. You are a man building it by walking through the fire. And stay with me, because what's coming next will teach you not only how to command the storm, but how to become the eye of it. Number 5, you are not a tourist, you're a builder. A goal is not always meant to be reached. It often serves simply as something to aim at. Let me say this as clearly as possible. You are not here to browse life. You are not here to admire dreams like window shoppers staring at luxury they'll never own. You are not here to wander, to dip your toe, to say, someday. You're here to build. And builders do not carry cameras. They carry bricks. They don't take pictures of the view. They create the skyline. But the truth is, most people don't know they've become tourists in their own potential. They look at success from a distance. They follow others who have built it. They double-tap photos of progress. They talk about it, journal about it, meditate on it, manifest it, and then they go right back to scrolling, back to drifting, back to waiting for some cosmic signal to move. And while they're sightseeing success, someone else is stacking it. Tourists want the experience. Builders want the result. There's a moment where every man must choose. Am I here to visit the idea of a better life, or am I here to construct it with my bare hands, day by day, choice by choice, with no applause, no audience, no breaks? Because the builder's path is not glamorous. It's not loud. It's quiet, consistent, and brutal. And that's why it works. You're not going to build anything permanent if you're still carrying the mentality of a tourist. Tourists move on when things get uncomfortable. They don't like the heat. They leave. They don't understand the language. They back off. The route gets hard. They find a new map. But builders work in all conditions, rain or shine, mud or metal, confusion or clarity. They stay and they keep laying bricks until the wall stands without them holding it. My friend, if you're serious about this 30-day vow, if you're serious about burning the bridge, then you must drop the camera, stop the sightseeing, and pick up the tools. You must remove every habit that screams temporary. That means no more starting just to stop. No more collecting strategies and avoiding execution. No more asking for blueprints when you haven't even cleared the land. The builder's path starts with one decision. I'm not going anywhere until it's done. Let me ask you something. What have you been touring? Your dream career, your mental discipline, your vision of financial freedom? That relationship you know isn't meant for small talk, but for legacy? Whatever it is, you already know. You've been standing outside the gates for years, peeking through the cracks, admiring what it could be, but not stepping through. Why? Because you've still been giving yourself the option to leave. Builders don't do that. Builders don't flirt with commitment. They marry it. And here's the secret the world doesn't teach you. Progress is boring. It's repetitive. It's unsexy. And that's why tourists avoid it. They think growth is a scenic route filled with breakthroughs and blessings. But real growth feels like pouring concrete at 5 a.m. when no one is watching. It feels like waking up again and again, doing the thing, even when your body's tired and your mind says, take a break. That's the work that builds empires. That's the work no one posts about. That's the work that separates the men who finish from the men who fantasize. Napoleon Hill said, persistence is to the character of man as carbon is to steel. Think about that. Carbon strengthens steel. Persistence strengthens you. You are not soft. You are not unsure. You are simply untrained. But that ends now. You are a builder, and builders train themselves through structure, through ritual, through the kind of consistency that doesn't need applause. So let's make it practical. Over these next 30 days, your job is not to feel inspired. Your job is to build, no matter what, no matter how tired, how distracted, how confused. One brick a day, one choice a day, one push forward every morning. And the best part? You don't need to prove it. You don't need to talk about it. You don't need to show anyone your blueprints. Because when a man is really building something, the results speak louder than any caption, louder than any explanation. You won't have to say a word. People will feel it when you walk in the room. Your posture will change. Your presence will get heavier. Why? Because builders carry weight, internal weight, direction command. So no more wandering. No more trying things out. That's the language of tourists. And you, my friend, are done with that era. From this moment forward, you are a man who plants his flag, lays his foundation, and refuses to move until the structure stands. And yes, it will hurt. It will stretch you. You will have days where you want to run back to the easy path, the safe zone, the place where you didn't have to build anything. But that's the moment where you choose who you are becoming. That's where you either drop the hammer or swing it. So swing it. Every action you take this month must come from this identity. I am a builder. I do not drift. I do not dabble. I drive stakes into the ground, and I build structures that last, even if it's slow, even if it's silent, even if no one sees it yet, because tourists come and go. But builders? They leave monuments. Now say this aloud, or better yet, type it in the comments and let the world know what you've decided. I build. I don't browse. Let it be your reminder. Let it be your anchor. Let it ring louder than your excuses. Say it again. I build. I don't browse. You are not here to visit your dream. You're here to live in it, to hammer it into place, to sweat in it, suffer in it, and eventually stand on top of it and say, I made this. And stay with me, because what's coming next will give you the fire you need to keep building when the world around you starts falling apart. Number 6, 30 days of ruthless execution, no announcement, no applause. Tell the world what you intend to do, but first show it. Napoleon Hill. Let me say this plainly. If you still need applause, you're not ready for greatness. If you still feel the urge to tell the world what you're doing, hoping they'll cheer you on or validate your effort, you haven't yet entered the arena where real transformation lives, because real work doesn't need an audience. Real execution doesn't seek comfort. Real results don't make announcements. This next 30 days is not a performance. It's not a documentary of your becoming. It's not something to share for likes or comments. This is war, the kind fought in the dark, without recognition, without praise, without anyone seeing the blood you shed behind closed doors. And that's exactly what makes it sacred. This is ruthless execution, not dramatic, not loud, deliberate, consistent, private. Most people don't actually want to build. They want to be seen building. They want to be clapped for every time they take a step, consoled every time they fall, reminded every day that it's okay. But the truth? It's not okay to stay the same. And no one's coming to hand you your potential. You've got to go into the silence, into the structure, into the sacrifice, and prove you're ready to build a version of yourself that never needed applause to keep moving. My friend, if you're doing this for recognition, you've already lost. Because the man who moves for applause will always stop when it fades. You think your discipline depends on accountability? No, it depends on your identity. You need to become the man who moves because that's who he is, not because someone is watching. So here's the rule. No announcement, no post, no humble brag, no starting today speeches. You don't need to tell anyone what you're doing for these 30 days. Why? Because the results will speak when you're done. And the more silence you work in, the more undeniable your outcome will be. You are building in the shadows, not for secrecy, but for seriousness. Imagine a blacksmith. He doesn't explain the fire to anyone. He doesn't call a crowd to watch the sparks. He strikes again and again. The hammer doesn't ask for feedback. The steel doesn't care how he feels that day. And the result? A weapon forged without words. That's your life now. You are that blacksmith, and your future is the blade. Over these next 30 days, the only thing you measure is action, not motivation, not how many people noticed, not how many conversations you had about it, just bricks laid, hours earned, progress made, quietly, repetitively, without reward, and it won't be easy. You'll feel the urge to tell someone, to get a little praise, to post a look at me moment online. And when that moment hits, and it will, I want you to remember this. Every time you announce the work before it's done, you weaken its power. Every time you speak too early, you split your energy between doing and defending. You don't need to prove that you're changing. You just need to change. Let them wonder where you went. Let them feel your absence from the noise. Let your silence disturb the people who once relied on your inconsistency. They don't need your updates. They'll feel your execution when the result walks in the room before you say a word. And yes, there will be days you want to quit. Days where the silence feels like isolation. Days when you want someone to remind you that you're on the right track. But listen to me. You don't need applause. You need obsession. You need a fire so hot it burns louder than any praise could speak. A commitment so real it doesn't even occur to you to look up and see who's watching. Because this is what separates winners from wanderers. The winners move in silence. The wanderers talk about moving. This is not the season of updates. This is the season of building something so immovable inside of you, it silences your old self permanently. You know, the one that needed approval, the one that needed encouragement, the one that kept asking, is this good enough? He's done now. He doesn't get to speak. The man you are becoming doesn't talk about results. He becomes the result. And let's get something straight. Your results will speak louder than you ever could. You don't have to beg people to believe you. You don't have to explain what you're doing. When your body changes, they'll see it. When your discipline sharpens, they'll feel it. When your presence enters the room, they'll know it's not the same man anymore. You won't have to tell them. They'll tell each other. But not yet. Now is the time for the grind, the quiet, the no questions asked movement. You wake up, you execute, you go to bed, you wake up, you do it again. No applause, no permission, no conversations about it. Napoleon Hill said, "Success requires no explanations. Failure permits no alibis." That's the code. You are not here to explain your grind. You are here to eliminate every reason to explain it, because when the mission is complete, the results explain themselves. So here's your drill, your daily command. Each day for the next 30 days, execute on your chosen path without talking about it. No updates, no social proof, no half-explained promises, just movement, just discipline, just focus. And every time you feel the need to share it, remind yourself, I don't need applause, I need proof. So say it right now, say it out loud, and write it in the comments to seal the vow. No announcements, just proof. Say it again, but with your spine straight, your jaw locked, and your soul burning. No announcements, just proof. This is how empires are built, in silence, in sweat, in structure. You don't owe the world your process, you owe yourself your result. And stay with me, because what's coming next will turn that proof into permanence. Number 7, build the fire, then burn the bridge. A definite decision backed by burning desire is the starting point of all achievement. Napoleon Hill. This is where it all ignites, not with hope, not with hype, but with heat, the kind of heat you build yourself. No more waiting for the spark to strike from the outside. No more standing by the woodpile praying for a lightning bolt. You are the fire, and it's time to burn. But not just anything, not distractions, not surface-level habits, not half-hearted promises. This time you burn the one thing that's kept you bound for far too long, the bridge back to your old life, the soft exit, the back door, the silent permission to quit. Most men think they need more motivation to move forward. What they really need is the courage to remove every option that lets them move backward. And that doesn't start with waiting for clarity. It starts with building a fire so hot that the old version of you can't survive it. A fire made of structure, of ritual, of repeated movement, of ruthless elimination. You don't get to keep the life you want while clinging to the man you were. That man, he hesitated. He explained. He dipped his toes but never jumped. He looked for signs instead of creating outcomes. And as long as he still has a vote, you'll never fully step into who you were born to become. So how do you kill him? You build the fire. Then you burn the bridge. What does that mean? It means you start doing what he never could do. You execute with no audience. You move without applause. You work without checking who's watching. You make decisions that don't give you the option to negotiate with your weakness. You set the alarm and get up before it rings. You write the plan and then bleed to make it real, not because you feel like it, because it is who you are now. And then you set fire to the safety net. You delete the exit route. You tell the old self there is no return. You burn the belief that you're allowed to stay the same, that this can wait, that 1 foot in is enough. You torch the lie that says drifting is harmless. You destroy the story that says failure is final. You set flames to every excuse that kept you lukewarm. And you leave behind a trail of ash that you vow never to walk again. This is more than a decision. This is a ritual. And rituals are sacred because they mark death and rebirth. You're not just starting something, you're killing something. The version of you that needed backup plans, the identity that needed approval, the mindset that still wondered if this would work. That version dies now. You don't get to say maybe anymore. You don't get to flirt with potential. You don't get to rehearse your greatness like it's a speech you'll give someday when the crowd is big enough. That crowd isn't coming. The only one watching now is your future self, and he's asking one thing. Are you willing to build the fire so big that the old you can never come home again? Because if you are, then let it all go. The delays, the doubts, the divided energy, let them burn. And when you look back and see that bridge behind you collapsing into flame, let it remind you of something simple and brutal. If there's no way back, the only direction left is forward. This is why you don't announce your intentions. You become them. This is why you don't ask for support. You outgrow the need for it. This is why you don't fear the discomfort. You use it to stoke the flame. Because comfort didn't build you. Pain did. Stillness did. Silence did. Movement did. And now, fire will. Napoleon Hill wrote about the power of definiteness of purpose. What he didn't say, but showed, was this. The moment a man decides that there is no alternative, all energy bends to that aim. The universe doesn't respond to maybes. It responds to musts. It opens for the man who burns the boats and says, this is it. This is me. I do not retreat. So what now? You've walked through the first 29 days of pressure, silence, focus, and action. You've learned how to quiet the noise, to guard your energy, to train your thoughts, to remove the distractions, to build without applause, to choose structure over emotion. Now, you set it in stone. Now you light the match. You pour the gasoline. You strike the flame. And you let the last pieces of your old identity turn to ash. Because after this, there is no going back. From here on, every action you take will scream, this is the only path. Every word you speak will carry the weight of a man who cannot be moved. Every step you take will feel like war, because you no longer walk with doubt, but with direction. And that direction is your new religion. Let others keep their backup plans. Let others choose comfort. Let others live halfway. Not you. You're the one who built the fire. You're the one who stayed. You're the one who moves now, not with uncertainty, but with authority. So here it is, your final affirmation. Speak it aloud with every ounce of certainty in your blood. And if you feel it, if you're ready to close the door behind you forever, write it in the comments. Let the world know. Let your past know. Let your future self hear you coming. I build the fire, I burn the bridge, I only move forward. Say it again, stronger this time. I build the fire. I burn the bridge. I only move forward. You've made the decision. Now live like it. Let the silence echo behind you. Let the ashes rise. Let the flame spread. And let your life begin. If this vow has changed you, if this journey spoke to you, if you're done holding back and ready to become the man you were born to be, then show it. Press the like button, hit subscribe, and comment below, the bridge is gone, I move. Because this isn't the end. It's ignition.